Okay, so with this video, I'm going to show you how to do week 2 assignment 2. And this is another assignment that uses the blend tool in Illustrator. So I'm doing this demonstration video in Illustrator. Okay, so I've opened the template and we have some intervals here. Each interval has 5 steps between the parent colors. And we need to create 4 intervals, one with warm analogous colors, one with cool analogous, one with warm to cool high key interval. And that means we're going from a warm color to a cool color, and one of those parent colors needs to be in the high key range. And the final one, it's the same as the second last one, except one of the parent colors needs to be in the low key range. So we'll go through these step by step, and I'm going to be using my color panel, and I'll probably use the color guide 2 and perhaps the edit colors dialog box. So we'll take a look at all of those. Now, the first thing I want to do is delete my middle boxes. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that on all of the intervals, noting that I need 5 steps in my blend. So I'll go ahead and set up my blend options. Specified steps are going to be 5, and that's ready to go. Now I need to choose my colors for the warm analogous interval. I'm going to click on my HSB panel here, and I'll start with a nice warm color. And I don't want to keep everything too boring, so I'm going to use some tints and shades as well. So I'm going to start with a nice light yellow color, and I might go to my show warm cool color options here in the color panel, and this is the color that I have already, the one in the middle, and I'm just going to click on my last color swatch there, and I might go for one of these here, start with that, and then I might play with it a little bit here to choose something a little bit different. So you see here we've got the warm colors, and here we have the cool colors. So you want to stay on the warm side for this warm analogous interval. And then I'll make my blend. So I'll just select both of those, and I'll go blend make. Now as you can see, I forgot to remove the stroke value, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I always prefer to see work without a stroke value. Okay, so I think I'll just go ahead and remove the stroke value on all of these now, so I don't forget to do that later on. Alright, so here we have our cool analogous interval, and I might do the same thing. I'm just going to start with a cool color, so I'll up my saturation and brightness, and then choose a cool color on my hue scale. And I might choose an interesting blue-green here. And once again, I'll play with a little bit so I get some variation. Maybe I'll make this a dark blue-green. And for my final color, I think I'll go back to my warm cool color guide, and I'll choose a blue. But once again, I'll play with it a little bit. It's a little bit desaturated. I'll just make it a desaturated blue, and I think that could make an interesting scale of cool analogous colors. So I'm going to select that and make my blend again. There we have, warm and cool analogous intervals are done. Now for the warm to cool high key interval, remember I need to make sure that one of my parent colors are in the high key range, and that means the other one needs to be either in the mid key range or the low key range. And I need to start with a warm color. So this time I might start with a pink color, a pinky red color, and I'll make the warm color my light color. So I'm going to make it light and desaturated. Now before I do anything else, I'm just going to double check that it's in the high key range, and to do that I'm just going to switch it to grayscale while it's still selected, and make sure that it's between 0 or 5% and 35% on the grayscale, which it is. So I'm just going to go edit undo to go back to my color version. And then I will decide on my final color, and this has to be a cool color. So I think I'll start with something like this. I'll go back to my HSB. And pink can be warm or cool, but if I make a really cool color here, we're going to emphasize the warmth of this color. So I'm going to make it a dark blue. And once again, I'm just going to check to make sure it is well and truly out of the high key range, and it is. It's 76%, which makes it a low key color. And then I can just go ahead. So I undid that, and I'm going to go ahead and make my blend. Beautiful. Okay, and for my final one, I have a warm to cool low key interval, which means one of my parent colors must be in the low key range. And I think I'll start with my low key color. Back to my HSV panel. And I need to start with a warm color. So I might start with a dark red-orange color. So let's say something like that. And I'm just going to darken it here. Alright, and I'll check to make sure it's in the low key range by switching it to grayscale. And you can see here it's 71%, so that's spot on. I'm going to undo that switch. So I've still got my brown there. And I think I'll go to a cool color. Let's say maybe I'll go to a I'll go to a greeny blue color. This should be making an interesting blend. And I want this to be in the mid key range. I might make it a desaturated color. So let me just double check it's in the right range. It's at 23%, which means it's in the high key range. Okay, that's great. I'm going to undo that, and then I'm going to make my blend. Okay, and that's all there is to it. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you've got any questions.